Life can sometimes throw unimaginable challenges our way, but what happens when those trials are made even harder by betrayal? Meet Sarah, a brave woman who faced a devastating diagnosis of breast cancer. After undergoing a double mastectomy to save her life, she thought her toughest battle was behind her. But just days after her surgery, Sarah's world crumbled further. Her husband, the man she trusted most, blindsided her with divorce papers. Stripped of both her health and her marriage, she found herself questioning everything. How could someone she loved walk away when she needed him the most? Yet, in the midst of heartbreak and despair, Sarah uncovered a strength she never knew she had. What happened next not only changed her life, but became an inspiring story of resilience and self-discovery. Stay tuned to see how Sarah turned pain into power and reclaimed her life on her own terms. Sarah had always been the kind of person who faced life head-on. She worked hard, loved deeply, and believed in the power of commitment. When she first received the diagnosis, it felt like her entire world had stopped. But with the support of her family and, she thought, her husband, she made the courageous decision to fight. The surgeries were grueling, and the recovery process was nothing short of a nightmare. But she held on, believing that brighter days were ahead. What she didn't know was that her husband had been pulling away long before the diagnosis. She noticed subtle changes, missed dinners, fewer words of comfort, but brushed them aside, thinking he was just overwhelmed. Then, when she needed him most, the truth came crushing down. His departure wasn't just a betrayal. It felt like a confirmation of her worst fears. Alone and heartbroken, Sarah had to face an unsettling question. How do you rebuild when everything is gone? The days after her husband left were a blur for Sarah. Between the physical pain of recovery and the emotional weight of his betrayal, she felt completely shattered. She would lie awake at night replaying the moment he told her he couldn't handle this anymore. Was it the surgeries, the scars, or was he simply looking for an excuse to leave? These questions haunted her, each one cutting deeper than the last. But Sarah wasn't the only one affected. Her close friends and family struggled to make sense of what had happened. Her best friend, Emma, was furious, insisting that no man who truly loved her could ever abandon her like this. Sarah's parents tried to hold her up, though their own hearts were breaking for their daughter. Even her co-workers noticed her silence, her once bright personality now dimmed. Amidst the chaos, Sarah discovered something unexpected. A journal her husband had left behind. Inside, a shocking secret lay waiting, threatening to change everything she thought she knew. Sarah's hands trembled as she opened the journal, unsure she was ready for whatever truths it might hold. Page after page, she read words that felt like daggers, hidden frustrations, resentment, and even moments of guilt from her husband. But then she stumbled upon something that made her heart race. There were mentions of someone else, cryptic notes about freedom and starting over, as though he had been planning his exit long before her diagnosis. The betrayal ran deeper than she'd ever imagined. Confusion turned into anger, and anger into a determination she hadn't felt in months. She refused to let his actions define her. Sarah reached out to a lawyer, determined to stand her ground. At the same time, whispers of the truth about her husband's new life began circulating through their small community. Sarah found herself facing not only her personal pain, but also the eyes of people who were starting to piece the story together. As the pressure mounted, Sarah realized this wasn't just about her marriage. This was about reclaiming her voice, her strength, and her future. She was on the verge of a decision that would change everything, but the question remained: would she confront him or rise above the chaos entirely? Just as Sarah was beginning to find her footing, another unexpected blow came her way. Late one evening, she received a message from an unfamiliar number. The text was brief but chilling. "You deserve to know the whole story." Attached was a photo of her husband with another woman, smiling in what looked like the early days of a new relationship. Sarah's breath caught in her throat as the pieces clicked into place. This wasn't just someone he'd met recently. This woman had been in his life for a while, likely overlapping with the hardest moments of Sarah's battle with cancer. The betrayal stung all over again, but there was something strange about the message. Who had sent it, and why now? Was it meant to hurt her, or was someone trying to help? As Sarah dug deeper, she uncovered a web of lies that went far beyond her marriage. It wasn't just about infidelity anymore, there was something bigger at play, and Sarah realized she'd been kept in the dark about more than she ever imagined. Now, she had to decide whether to expose the truth or focus on rebuilding her life before the weight of it all crushed her completely. Fueled by the need for answers, Sarah decided to confront her husband directly. She called him, her voice steady despite the storm of emotions inside. When she mentioned the mysterious text and the photo, there was a long pause on the other end of the line. Finally, he admitted it. He had been in a relationship with the woman for months, even while Sarah was undergoing treatment. He tried to justify his actions, claiming he needed an escape from the stress, but his excuses only deepened her resolve. But just as Sarah thought she had uncovered the full truth, the unexpected twist arrived. A second message came through from the same unknown number. This time, it wasn't just another photo, it was a legal document. Her husband had been funneling their joint finances into a private account to fund his new life, leaving Sarah unknowingly at financial risk. Faced with betrayal on every level, Sarah didn't crumble. She contacted her lawyer and a financial advisor, determined to protect herself and reclaim what was rightfully hers. The battle was fierce, but in the end, Sarah emerged stronger. The scars from her journey, both physical and emotional, became symbols of her resilience. And as for the mysterious sender, Sarah never discovered their identity, but they became a silent ally in her fight for justice and healing. With the truth out and the battle for her future fought and won, Sarah slowly began rebuilding her life. The process wasn't easy, but it was transformative. She found strength in small victories, reclaiming her finances, embracing her scars, and rediscovering her sense of self. Sarah also leaned on her friends and family, whose unwavering support reminded her she wasn't alone. As the months passed, she began sharing her story, not to dwell on the pain, but to inspire others facing similar challenges. Through her honesty and resilience, Sarah became a beacon of hope for women navigating life after loss. Her husband faded into her past, a reminder of what she had endured but no longer defined her. Sarah's journey was far from the one she had imagined, but it led her to a version of herself she was proud of, stronger, wiser, and ready to embrace a future she'd built on her own terms.